Welcome to 91 Reasons, a pop culture fueled rocket into the far reaches of nerd culture. Featuring your hosts, Jeff, Rachel, Luna, Austin, and Josie. It's Tucker time.
Ask you a question. When do they stop becoming special? What's the number? It was special. Like it's a 4. You know what it is? You've become the dome of special, where it's like a 10 episode special report, and then it's like, well, it was good, so there's 10 more, and now there's 10 more, and now there's 10 more. So you're like the not Bruce Willis of the Homestuck special episodes. Let's introduce everybody. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined, as always, by the resident Homestuck experts of the Inland Empire, who are
Austin,
Luna,
and they're going to guide you through what was an epic update, right? Didn't you? Isn't that what happens? Like you always say, we finish the show and then there's some massive update.
Twice this week, the record was broken for the longest normal update.
we even got Hive Swap news. We got it all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I will take a seat in the background and I will monitor from home base. But please,
Wait,
what?
before we continue, the second half of Act 2.
We want to thank Patreon pledger Vriska, who continues to support the show by pledging enough money to make us watch Homestuck on, what is it called? Collab
HQ.
Collab HQ. So next week's episode will be a continuation of watching the Homestuck on YouTube. We'll watch another 2-hour block. And I will tell you, because, I mean, you guys keep saying, like, this is going to be the one where it's going to start getting good and things aren't going to be about knocking stuff out of their inventory, right?
Hussey says it best when he says the end of Act 2 flat. He says, well, Homestuck stops becoming a webcomic and starts being a thing that starts ruining your life.
And we want to ponder the question, who is Vriska? Who is Vriska? Is it Andrew Hussey?
Oh, yeah.
Is it an Uber fan? We don't know.
It's Vriska, parentheses, Vriska.
So, yeah, we'll be continuing that on next week's episode, but we're going to preempt it this week because, like we said, the updates were massive and broad, and they need to bring you all the latest news, including Homestuck webcomic updates, Hive Swap video game updates, and most importantly, Clown Lord updates.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So before you get to the Homestuck stuff,
Clown lording.
Luna needs to explain the Clown Lord updates. Go ahead.
How much have I explained already?
Let's start from first.
You have to assume this is the first episode they're tuning into, just really briefly.
Okay.
So the best way to say it is that Impia is ruining Andrew Hussey's life.
You call me Imp?
Yeah.
My Steam name?
Call me by a Steam.
Tumblr URL?
Come on, that's your internet ego. I gotta afford you by the white ego.
Now. This is why you don't make up URLs when you're reading Act 2.
Aww.
Because even here I am 2.5 years later, I'm still Imp.
So, you've been ruining Andrew Hussey's life through alternate trolling accounts on his Twitter. Mm-hmm. And he keeps saying, like, I so hope this alternate Twitter account doesn't get made and stop bothering me. Like, he's been asking for it lately. It's almost like he wanted you to take this account and that you were the one to do it.
I also run Hussey Twitter, where anytime he does something important on Twitter, I post it. I used to post on everything. Any little tweet Hussey ever made, I screen capped and put it on Tumblr. And Rachel started yelling at me. So I'm like, I'll tone it down. No more personal conversations. Only important news stuff.
It's public stuff. Anyone can do that.
It's public on
Why
Twitter.
Would he
why is there a big fit over sharing it? I don't know, but I only use it like once a month now.
So what started happening is you started trolling to Hussey via alternate accounts. Mm-hmm. And then you started screen capping it and posting it on Hussey Twitter and racking up the sweet Tumblr notes. We're talking like 16,000 notes here per post. It got insanely popular. And these alternate accounts included Gamtab for Life and
Marlon B. Rando.
Marlon B. Rando.
Because Hussey yells at him about his Twitter randos. And one day he said, just in Marlon Rando would be a good name for a rando.
He was asking for it.
IPGD immediately responded, don't do this, Andrew. Someone's going to take that account.
He probably already has Marlon Rando as a Hive Swap character. And he's like, I said hint on it on Twitter.
The ultimate payoff's going to be on Prongle. Especially since around the time he was planning Prongle, he suggested I make the Brando account. So I'm just playing right into his advertising ploy. But This week, IPGD finally outright said, guys, what if Marlon Brando, Gamtav for Life, and Hussy Twitter are all the same person?
Now, it's very easy to link Gamtav to life to Marlon Brando. They're two alternate trolling accounts that just troll Hussy. Of course, it's the same dude.
And I've had them work together before.
But where Hussy Twitter is a stretch, man, because that's an obscure Tumblr blog. They just kind of...
Yeah. Well, they've talked about it previously, too.
Yeah.
It all loops in on itself.
But now we know that you're talking about your blog specifically. Because there's a lot of Hussy Twitter blogs.
Yeah.
But it's your blog. Because you posted one pixel.
I posted one picture.
One pixel that IPGD saw of Hussy's Twitter. You screen captured just a random joke. And at the very top, you were logged in as very bottom, you were logged in as Wando.
Yes. It's hard to tell, but at the bottom of the Twitter conversation where you can comment, it shows your profile picture really tiny. I left it Brando.
Should I be more concerned for you or IPGD for stalking the blog so much?
Who's stalking who here?
I don't know. It's like a never-ending stalker circle that loops in on
That
itself.
one only got a couple hundred notes. Like maybe not even that.
That wasn't one of the ones that got popular.
No.
That means IPGD is really into your blog.
Normally they only get upwards of thousands if Hussy says the word horse. That's the only way you get that high.
Now, this all links into your fan adventure, doesn't it? You've linked this into your Factstuck, your parody.
Yeah, okay, I started Factstuck almost 2 years ago. And then after that, I started, I got the URL for A6, A6, A1, and A6, A6 Intermission 1, and A6, A6 Act 2.
So you started...
And I thought, you know what would be fun? If I mess with people as the act. I am the act. So I started yelling like, haha, the feels in this next update. And over 2 years, that slowly morphed into, he's a cherub who's just off screen in the comic messing with the characters. It doesn't make any sense, and it's meant to not make sense.
It's part of the Factstuck parody.
Yeah, because then I tied it into Factstuck, which is a big parody on fan adventures. That the ultimate parody is that I'm too lazy to write it.
Wow. That's quite the truth right there, man.
Yeah. So that eventually morphed into Marlon Brando, which out of nowhere, Hussy starts interacting with me. So now he's literally role-playing with my fan adventure character. Like, I don't know.
It's getting weird now. We've gone from this fan adventure parody you made that originally was not a parody. You just decided it was so bad you turned it into a parody.
Yeah.
And now it's gone to a scary point where it doesn't matter whether the fan adventure is getting written or not, because it's become canon to a degree we don't even know, man.
It started out as a text-based adventure on the Land of Ooh Adventure Time forums.
And
zero to do with Homestuck. Nothing. I wanted to make my own text adventure spoof, and they all turned it into Homestuck, and I made these little characters, and they became Vaxstuck. Which became A6, which became Hyperion, which became Marlon B. Rando.
Which is leading into Hive
which
Swap
now
as a
Hussy's
plot
talking
point.
about, and may or may not be a plot point in Prongle.
The evolution, man. If you'd never created that account on landofoo.com, where would we be today?
Hussy would have had to find a different guy to play Brando.
You think you're getting a fandom payoff, Percy finally going, thanks for being part of the fandom.
I'm
Here's your
giving
payoff.
into his
You're
advertising.
giving into his advertising and becoming
He
a
suggested
marketing
Brando.
ploy.
He keeps replying to my tweets. I'm just playing right into his hands.
But you want to.
Yeah, the poor IPGD stuck in the middle of it all. I feel sorry for her.
I love how when the game comes out, not only will Marlon be Rando in it, but I guarantee there's going to be some Transformers-obsessed troll that's IPGD as a character.
Well, everyone working in the HiveSwap team got to contribute their own character, so I could see Hussy throwing in a few of his friends, too.
But we're going to get a obnoxious 90s video game troll, like Joey, that people are going to sip them with these big, ugly orange shoes. It steps on Taco Bell receipts. It's going to be Toby, Radius, and Fox as a character.
Cocksuck boots,
And then
lousy immigrants.
I would say make the whole music team with Bowman, but Bowman kind of already threw himself in the mix.
Well, according
as
to
Hadron Collider.
Paradox Comics, Grey Liz is already going to be in it. Grey Liz's or Weedles? I can never remember. I think it's Grey Liz's. The 13th troll in this Christmas comic.
Yeah.
He's supposedly in HiveSwap.
Wasn't he also at SpiteCon?
Yeah, he was at SpriteCon. He was in the Christmas one. He's in a couple others.
And he's going to be a HiveSwap character.
He's probably going to be a HiveSwap character. Plus, there's the unannounced main character troll. There's a playable character we don't know.
And the other one is that when they show the random trolls giving each other gifts, it looks like Zephyros.
Yeah, it looks like the 13th troll in Zephyros.
That's what it looks like.
It has links to HiveSwap.
And considering the time they were working on
Zephyros looks like the Homestuck fandom stuck, so that all ties into each other.
The HiveSwap news we got was on the What Pumpkin Tumblr, for the studio, and they posted a full panoramic image of the studio, which is a bunch of desks with computers that are all blurred out of all these Homestuck nerds and t-shirts.
It's not purposely blurred out. It's just a low quality image.
Okay, they're all in Homestuck t-shirts with horns with Homestuck prints all across the walls. Some things to take note of. Was it pointed out on Reddit?
Yeah.
That there was a empty desk with no one in it?
Yeah, it's got a drawing tablet. It's got
Solix
Solix horns and this big giant print of Vriska.
Gee, I wonder whose desk that is. Who could it possibly be? Why North, obviously.
Oh, obviously.
Okay, now, people can analyze this as much as they want, talking about the different members of the team and what blood stuff.
The guy who likes basketball has a standing desk. The girl with the lizard on her
Yeah.
shoulder rack. It's Tiltane Terezi Pyrope in human form.
There's so much you can analyze, but I started flipping out as soon as I saw this. For a second, I'm like, okay, don't get too excited. He's not wearing Calliope horns. Those are just the Aerodan horns from Wheel of Fine, in a different direction. Okay, let's go to Wheel of Fine and view the Aerodan horns. Because those look a little too much like Calliope horns. Okay, they don't make Aerodan horns. Those really are Calliope horns.
Yeah.
The Hive Swap team has Calliope horns. Where do I get a pair of these? And I need them right now.
Probably the next Wheel of Fine convention. I'm assuming Anime Expo.
But
July.
the next one is Aqueous, so why are they jumping to Calliope?
I think they've had them all done for a while. It just takes that long to get them to mass production.
Okay.
They got to make enough profit off the earlier versions. They can come out with the newer ones and be able to make profit off those and so on and so forth.
Like, they still have the Jade and Dave
They haven't done
outfits to
any
release.
Homestuck releases for a month and a half now, so they're gonna gear up for something.
The last one was...
I'm assuming they're holding off for 612.
They have put all focus into Star Wars and Avengers right now.
Yeah, because that's what's big.
When you have Star Wars and Avengers at this time right now, you don't waste it. You make as much stuff. I think they just came out with about 30 Star Wars items.
Yeah. Avengers will die down, and summer will be Hive Swap and the climax of the comic, so they'll do another Homestuck wave.
Yeah. I actually will expect the most for someone, and sadly, I wouldn't expect much this fall off from Wheel of Fine. Just What Pumpkin. What Pumpkin will go all out with Hive Swap stuff. Wheel of Fine will lay low because they have Star Wars, which
The
is going to be the
Paradox-based
most...
book is still a thing. Probably delayed till 612 because of their orders.
But with Wheel of Fine having Star Wars, I expect a lot more in-house What Pumpkin products. And Rachel said there's a lot down the pipeline that is more exciting than the character pin trading announcement.
I'm assuming most of the Wet Pumpkin merch falls under the same thing as Hive Swap and the same thing as the Homestuck books we keep waiting on, which is, Hussy, I'm going to finish the comic up within the month. And then that split goes on for 3 years and they never get anything out.
I wonder how much is in the stockroom laying around.
Yeah, but they're waiting for the go-ahead on Hussy.
I mean,
I've pressed the button. The climax is out. Everyone go.
They've hinted at hyping it some really, really nice releases. And the stuff we know has to be coming is, obviously, the next set of pins, the next set of horns, and the God 2 outfits. But that's all Wheel of Fine, and then a reuse of what they have with the pins.
Well, character pins, books intermission in book 4.
Okay.
Some sort of more improved God tier outfits. The rest of the Wheel of Fine ones.
Yeah.
The troll action figures they've had done for 2 years now.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see those. I don't think those ever got worked on.
No.
I'm gonna say that right now.
As of last September, What Pumpkin said they were waiting for the announcement. They started teasing.
Let me just say right now, there's going to be no troll action figures. I think at this point they've already gone a different route, and they have something else in the works. Whether it be blind box sprite modes, 3D printed something if they ever went through what they do with Hasbro, or Funko something. Whatever it is, it will be definitely a different route.
Pukeharn was on Twitter today saying that they want to sell What Pumpkin the patterns for their plushies to mass produce. Not the super high quality $400 ones, the little chibi ones they do.
Okay.
So those would be like $30-$40 in the store. But because the thing is, it's still just an idea right now. That won't come for a while.
I would like to see sprite mode plushies.
That's what they look like. They look like not exact sprite mode from the comic. They're chibi.
Wait. I think I know what you're talking about. Is it like the little Rose and Kanaya?
Yeah.
Oh,
Two kinds of little mini plushies.
Yes, I know exactly what those are. Oh my goodness.
They make the really nice ones, and like smaller, really nice ones, and then they have all these little chibi ones.
No, those chibi ones are the best ones, man.
Yeah,
those are the ones I like the most. Those are so cool.
She tweeted What Pumpkin with a little dot, so it sounded to everyone, not just What Pumpkin, that she would gladly hand over the designs.
Oh my
if they
god,
wanted to
yes.
do it.
I mean,
She says she wants to do Roxy and Rose and Jade and stuff because of the new update.
I've always wanted to make those. I have all the patterns favorited, and I've been wanting to make them for so long once I get good at sewing. Because I would just like to have on my desk a little basket of splat modes.
Oh.
The tiny Rose and Kanaya is just the greatest thing
all goes
ever.
according to plan, they'll release them. As long as Pewkine's a member of the Hive Swap team, it's highly likely.
Oh, I need a complete set.
Because Rachel's going to be like, wait, someone we already have hired is just handing us products to make?
If they make those, if they make the little Rose and Kanayas, I'll buy like 100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I need those. I need like a whole basket of them on my desk. So like Doc Scratch with the update arrows. So moving on from mods, the actual updates themselves.
Yeah. The two of the longest updates ever, if you don't count flashes or recaps.
The first one is Dave, Carcat, and John, and what might be one of the weirdest written updates we've ever gotten. Dave, where do I begin on this update? I don't
you
know.
begin with John is the biggest homophobic jerk in all the universe, in all of Paradox Space.
But he does that on purpose, you know that, right? Because I just read through his commentary on Acts 2 and 3.
Well, I know Hussey's writing like that on purpose. That doesn't help him, though. John is still a jerk.
Yeah, John's still horrible. And he even says in the comments, saying he's amazed at how homophobic and ableist he wrote John in the early acts. And that he just kind of has to...
Now he's made that a plot point.
He has to roll with it now.
That was back when Hussey was trying to write teens. Now he realized he didn't write teens right, but he's still turning it into their character. So it all works out in the end.
Yeah.
What is it? It's in that conversation, John says, yeah, and then I said, I am not a homosexual, which is actually kind of weird because that's like a totally normal thing kids say. It's like, it's making fun of an old Formspring, I believe it was, right? Where Hussey was like, what do you mean that sounds weird? That's how you kids do it, right? If someone's coming on to you, you simply say, I am not a homosexual. That's how the kids do it.
They called him a cranky old man.
Yeah.
So in the comic, John says he sounds like Dave says he sounds like a cranky old man, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
And then Dave goes on this whole thing about how, why does John even care about this? Because does it really matter whether he's homosexual or not? Because there's no society to follow since Earth blew up.
Earth blew up. There's only 8 humans in all of existence.
He says, what even is normal anymore? Does any of this matter? Society's so dead.
There's only 8 humans in all of existence, and only 4 of them come from an Earth we would recognize.
Yeah. So Dave goes on this whole chat about how bad society was and how they handled masculinity in fiction and works. And then he goes on about all his childhood. Him and John would joke like in Act 3 I was reading through. This is the type of stuff that scarred Dave and why he's like this in the new acts. John says, okay, Dave, this present is an ironic saying. It's for your little gay butt. I know it stinks. And I'm like, this is the type of thing that Dave is scarred by in the new pages. This is why he has this problem with John. Because John's just sort of tormented his life with this.
And he's in with Bro Strider.
He's living with Bro, too, and that really goes on all of it.
Yeah, so then Dave tries to come out to John, but Carcat cuts him off and starts screaming about gossip-hungry lobotomy hobbits.
Yeah. And John finally says, Dave, are you trying to come out to me? And then he changes the subject by going on about Woxie and how Woxie's his mom.
Yeah.
And then the next update was Jake and Tavros talking about their paid powers and how they can use them. And then Tavros cheers Jake up. Whisker cuts him off, tells him they're both horrible people at the end of the chat.
I think that's the first time it's outright said what a page is.
Yes.
Because it's common knowledge, a page, they're really weak, then at the end they get really strong. That was said when Tavros is flarping and he chooses the pupa class.
Not
It has
actually
nothing
paid.
to do with being a page. And then it's somewhat brought up when Arania fixes Jake's mind in the game over timeline, but it's never like precisely said. It's just hinted at again.
So-
and here it's finally outright said.
And that's set up so that you know exactly what's happening in the Clay Caliburn scene
This
we just saw.
whole character select is just Hussey, I have no room to get the characters anywhere, so they're all gonna sit in one spot, have the longest conversation in Homestuck history, and wrap everything character-wise up. All we need is Dirk to show up now.
Yet not wrap everything character-wise up in a way.
Yeah, because then he's also starting off all these new storylines.
It doesn't make any sense. Now we've got this weird Rose thing we're going to get into in a moment.
But after that was the Scourge Sisters one. That one, nothing interesting.
I sort of think he just threw that in to sell a few more t-shirts.
Yep.
I feel like the Squad Sisters content, like, first they really mounted the comic, and that was their entire point. But another year and a half of hiatuses and small updates down the road, they've gone from the big thing to the comic to just a side thing he just throws in because the fandom's obsessed with him so much.
It's pretty much just in there as a break because it's right between the two longest updates in Homestuck
Yeah.
history. So it's a little 2-pager with nothing crazy.
And I went on my dashboard even doing the new update, and it's just all people talking about the Squad Sisters still. It's obviously very, very popular.
The only thing interesting in there is Vriska saying, I'll look you up on Earth when we get back.
Yeah. And what I'm thinking is, I don't know.
We don't know what Vriska's plan is, but that helps us a little bit, meaning it's going to end with them living just domestically on Earth, like all the generic happy endings to Homestuck.
Oh, you Saucy's not just going to go on Earth to waste Caliborn and Calliope, and that's her goal?
Look you up when you get on Earth implies it's a whole civilization of people.
Okay.
And then the other thing it implies is that Vriska leaves, and she's not going to be back until Ellie's defeated and the game is won. Or until they win the game, then they meet up, then they go and fight Lord English, which at this stage seems more reasonable. Because I don't see any way of getting them to fight Lord English, to leave the session, fight Lord English, get him back to the session, and win the session. It's more likely they're going to completely win Suburb and then fight Ellie.
I don't understand Vriska's plan, though. Why would Seal want them on domestic Earth?
I don't know. We don't know her plan at all. I have no idea what she's doing.
It's Vriska. Would he really just throw them all on Earth, or would he take control because he's Vriska and
that
mind
Earth
control
needs
them?
to end up in the future for Callie to grow up on.
Vriska's plan is going to involve messing everything up.
Yeah.
Now, ultimately, it's not going to go through.
Whether it's true that cherubs only exist post-retcon, or it's true that it's Caliborn pre-retcon, Calliope post-retcon, doesn't matter. All that matters is that Earth ends up... the meteor ends up on the dried up Earth in the future.
Now, I was actually thinking that Vriska had somewhat of a plan here, and he's more of an anti-hero to the story, trying to actually save the day and do something. But by beating Jake up in that update with Tavros, I think is when he finally is defined again, as he did in Act 5, Act 2, as a villain of the comic. And this is going to be a bit of a stretch, but do you remember when the flash we got, where she's back, where she walks up and she's all silhouetted? She's entirely dark colors. She's all black, and she's walking up to Jade.
Yeah.
Only villains are really drawn like that. I think she's being drawn like a villain on purpose. I think within the later panels we'll start seeing her more and more like Eridan was drawn. Not going grimdark, but just drawn in darker shades and all black solid colors.
That happens with Eridan, happens with Gamzee, it happens with Kurlos.
Aqueous. Right?
Aqueous? A little bit, but that's mostly
When he gets choked.
Stand there and watching things.
That doesn't count as failing Nepeta and somewhat of a bad thing, no?
No, he went that drawing style when he got choked because Gamzee was touching him.
Because he's
and
a villain.
Gamzee was in villain mode. Or murder mode, as it's officially called, right?
Yeah. The other time, which the weird out of context one, is Kankwi when Mina blows up the bomb. He looks all grim and he's all in the dark back.
That was just set up so that when he reveals Kankri, he's even more of a
He's
dork.
just laughable in every way possible. They tried to make him...
He sets up Alpha Silence to be the coolest character ever, then you get Kankri.
I mean, Little Hal's sprite mode is already all solid colors. He's got that villain look to him too. They all do.
Well, he's Little Hal. There's no way Hal at 9,000 is going to be the villain.
But that finally defines Vriska as a villain, which sort of means he has to get taken out by her own creation, because that's the only way you can write her off. It's backwards character development if Trezzy has to kill her or someone. I know Trezzy killed her in Act 5, Act 2, but if the final Vriska death scene of this Vriska is Trezzy killing her, I don't think it would work. She has to be killed by her own creation. Somehow, whatever plan this is has to have a way of backfiring on her in a really bad way. What do you think? What would be the best way of getting rid of that Vriska?
As a lot of people are talking about in the Reddit and Tumblr all over the place, the best way to get rid of her would be to have her accidentally get attacked by Tavros, go into Tavros Sprite and blow up.
Yeah.
But plot relevant, she needs to go through with most of her plans for the sake of something happening.
Yeah.
Because if she just gets caught and blows up without doing anything, this has been a waste of time.
And
she needs to be able to at least go to where she's going and do something. She won't ever make it back, like she says. But she needs to do her thing.
I mean, 2 updates ago, she said, all right, here's the plan. Nepeta and Pfeffer are going to get spited. And then after Dave Waxy mom chat we got today for a
that
sweet
was the
bro.
last one, the newest one, so... That started off amazing.
We're gonna get spoiler alerts here.
Yeah,
I know it just came out
this
today.
is only a few hours, so I don't know. Sometimes people don't talk about that soon. We are. The first half is just some of the best Dave chats of all time. He's finally met his match with Roxy.
He's
Well, that's a
finally.
Freudian slip too.
It's weird that a lot of people are saying they went out of character, but now Dave is fully Dave. He's Dave again.
Oh, he's Dave again.
And this Rose is Rose again because he never got drunk or any of that.
Roxy's just girl Dave.
It's weird that this
And
Rose
Rose is just girl Dirk.
The problem with this Rose, though, is it's just because he never got drunk, so he never progressed. So she is, without a doubt, Act 2 Rose. The snarky teen who wrote Game Facts.
She's female
Facts.
Dirk Rose, as
Yeah.
Roxy said. Which is interesting because that means, at least with the Durst kids, they matched their Pester Chum signs.
Oh, okay.
Dave and Roxy share Pesterlog initials, and Rose and Dirk do. Which is interesting because Pester Chum is Pester Chum is where all the talking is, so it makes sense that sharing Pester Chum initials means you talk similar.
Okay.
Because that's also why in the previous intermissions it was so heavily emphasized that John and Jake talk the same. Because we were supposed to get from that opposite ancestors talk the same.
So that this could make sense more. And then at the end of the update, it started flipping out because, oh my goodness, it's Jasper Sprite. They gotta take a moment to look at the dialogue and say, wait, Rose Sprite? Rose Sprite, okay, double roses is the,
We've been waiting Booyah Double Roses to pay off for so long now.
almost as long as your double Solix Sprite you think's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You really think that's the final Sprite?
Well, I was waiting for Aerosol to put on the ring. Double Solix Sprite didn't occur to me until after that. Until after that was
Okay.
debunked.
Two Solix Sprite with the quirk.
Two
It
Solix
works
Sprite.
too well.
He could even still wear the Ring of Life. That would still make sense.
Yeah.
There's just a heavy emphasis on Aerosol's finger. And Aerodance wears rings.
So,
He's got to wear the ring.
we got the other Rose back. See, he's the
So
opposite
double
of David
roses
Sprite. He
now.
says he's a different Rose since he's okay with
Booyah,
it.
Double Roses, and it's a payback to the Dave Sprite timeline where the two roses merged together.
So,
Everyone's saying Rose Sprite's gonna happen. I don't think it is.
a lot of reasons why. First off, we got this Rose here who is an entirely different character. She's gone through the alcohol, and she is a different Rose.
It would pay off the Rose from the Dave Sprite timeline merging, but there's so much more he could do with it than just that.
Well, Rose... Okay, there has to be at some point a Rose in the God Tier Pajamas not part of a Sprite so she can get trapped in the house, and that's this one. The Sprite isn't that one. Who knows what's going to happen to the Sprite?
Yeah. Well, if the BYB's Juju theory is correct, which most of us are assuming is now, then that means a live Rose is going to end up in the house, and Sprite Rose is going to end up in the cue ball.
Oh, nice. Some quality sad stuck in the next
Yeah.
act.
Although how the cue ball is... The cue ball has to somehow end up being created in the alpha session for her to go in, and then sent back to Jade's chest? And then that has to end up in Alternia? In Vriska's house? And then Doc Scratch? I have no idea how the cue ball works. We have no idea. It just kind of shows up.
Yeah.
It was hanging out with Problem Sooth, and then suddenly it was on Alternia. And then suddenly Rose has it again in Act 5, Act 2. Supposedly she got it from Jade's house, right?
Yes.
Which means the one in Jade's house already has the soul in it, or the magic powers in it. Which implies it was on Alternia first, then Jade's chest.
It's a magic cue ball, though. Things in Homestuck can't be magic. That's
There's no such thing as magic. That's established. So the most logical sense seems to be souls.
Yeah, with
But
the whole...
it could be a time loop shenanigans again. But Little Cal now pretty much proves Jujus with souls in them are as a canon thing. And if you're going to do that, why not have every Juju, or most of them, have a character we know of in them?
because how do you get them out?
You don't. That's why he's creating all these splinters. So there's 10 Dirks running around for all the different katanas, and why there's now a second Rose for the cue ball.
But every Rose is going to end up in a cue ball. Are you telling me we're going to go final battle? Rose trapped cue ball, Rose trapped cue ball, panel of Kanaya crying, and you are now Rose number 2000 in this dream bubble. Let's follow her adventure.
No, because it has to be an Alpha Rose. Only the Alpha characters will be able to live for the in-game comic.
Well, the alpha characters are all going in the Jujus.
Exactly. He's finally found a way to kill him off for good, except he's now finding even more loopholes, like this Rose Sprite is technically a second Alpha Rose. The game over switch means there's second alpha versions of all the characters. And it implies that if they were all to lose, John can retcon again and create third alpha versions.
Now, the woes coming back is really interesting because it proves something that I was really scared of. The game over characters still have relevance, okay.
Yeah, they still have relevance.
We're safe.
But Rose only because of the Dave Sprite timeline shenanigans, that she's already had emphasis on that. None of the other dead game over characters already have a story arc involving them returning from Doom timelines.
But they have to exist somewhere within the bubbles.
Yes, but that doesn't mean they're important.
But why wouldn't this woes top mention
The only thing
Kanaya?
I can think of is that if somehow they still are able to retain their alphaness even as dead Dream Bubble ghosts from a dead timeline. And that would imply Punk Vriska is still 100% important to the story, going to be there for the final battle, which I kind of see happening. I don't know.
There's a lot of interesting things right now. Okay,
It works both ways. Not only are Doom selves not allowed to have importance in the story, Alpha selves have to have importance in the story. So having Punk Vriska and all these dead game over characters just floating around out there is really weird.
It is. It is really weird. Thankfully, we have our old woes back. I feel like Husby's desperately trying. Okay, it's alright. We got normal John, normal Moxie, normal Jasper Spot. I got them all here. Okay, woes.
Where's the other Jaspers? He was still on the ship, right? He's probably on a Lomax.
Oh, there's a new Jaspers, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a new Jaspers who didn't play Ghostbusters with them. That's all that really changed.
Character change. Man, Hussy is what...
Actually, no, Jaspers didn't have Dave Sprite to chase. So, that could have affected things.
I don't think that other Jasper Sprite is ever going to show up, ever. There will be one panel where there's an important dialogue, and if you look in the background and squint, there's two Jaspers meowing and playing with each other. That's what it's going to be. That's simple.
Well, it's also possible that Nana, Dave, Aerosol, and a few others made it to John's planet.
Oh, God. Is it possible that Dave Sprite...
They keep saying he's dead so often, he's obviously not.
Yeah, they just did the last update, literally today. More emphasis on, hey, Dave Sprite's dead. Oh yeah. Dave Sprite's dead.
Unless they're pulling is the ring gonna be on the couch gag of, wow, there's no, man, the ring is definitely gonna not be on the couch. There's no way it's gonna be there. Gets there? Wow, look at that, it's not on the couch. This may be there's no way Dave Sprite's ever coming back. Comicans. Dave Sprite never came back, guys.
He's gotta come back. Come on. So if the game over selves still have importance in the story, what about Gamzee? I'm losing track of all the Gamzees here. Cause
there's only ever one active Gamzee at a time.
I was just talking with a friend on Steam, trying to figure out what Gamzee weighs as Caliborn. Is it the one from Game Over or not? Because the one from this timeline, guess what? He doesn't have the God Tier outfit. So how did that weigh Caliborn? It doesn't make any sense.
Once again, we're going into the split retcon theory, and once again, I'm going to pull up the same ones. You have to assume that either this is how the Alpha Talon is supposed to go. The great gods, the horror terrors, have always known that John was going to retcon there and loop it back around. They've planned their timeline accordingly. Or you have to assume that the retcon timeline was going to go on as it normally would until he cut it. Which means that if in the future, say that I'm going to time travel back to this moment exactly. Dave does this when he thumbs up himself, so it's not something foreign to Homestuck. When Dave thumbs up himself, he says, "Okay, Trozy, if I can trust you, I'm going to go back in time to this moment, come out from around that corner, and give myself a thumbs up. Oh my God, there I am." So, but he hasn't gone back and done it yet. This is still the first time around, but it still was able to happen. Why?
Because he does it in the future.
Because he does it in the future. So you have to assume that all the stuff with the Gamzee raising the cherubs happened because he planned on doing it in the future, and it was going to happen in the future. And John retconning it was unexpected to the horror terrors, and they didn't know that cut was going to happen. So you're able to have half loops.
Oh.
Okay. Gamzee said he was going to go back and do that stuff. It didn't matter he didn't get a chance to do it, because the horror terrors didn't know that he was going to get they still assumed he was going to get the chance to do it, so it still happened.
But we all got interrupted by John.
Like, go back and Dave says, I'm going to jump out from behind that corner. Boom! Kill Dave. What happens?
Yeah.
Does he still jump out from behind the corner because he planned to, or doesn't he? By Act 5, Act 2 rules, or Act 4 rules, he would not, because it would send you a doomed timeline, because the Horror Terrors already knew it was coming. But when you have something like retconning that they don't know is coming, what happens?
I don't know.
If it was a retcon, John went back and killed Dave at that moment, then I'm assuming, yes, he would still come out from behind the corner, even though he is dead. Because he still planned on doing it, and nothing else planned on stopping him from doing it.
Okay, interesting. So, if this Rose sprite is here, it's very obvious there's going to be a part where she actually starts talking about something that isn't how she's going to solve the other Rose. She has to go into her own story.
Well, she's there to serve Roxy. She's Roxy's sprite.
That's right.
All her prepackaged riddles are meant for Roxy. And Rose said very, very important in this update, which was that she could not see Rose Sprite. Her seer powers could not see Rose Sprite.
Yeah.
And that means either two things. Either Rose Sprite is being affected by Void, Roxy, and maybe Jasper's and a lot of Void-related stuff is going on. And that's been known to short-circuit seer powers. Or, once again, the Horror Terrors cannot see Rose Sprite because she's not supposed to exist. There can't be two alphas, and yet there are. They can the Horror Terrors are masters at planning timelines, but if there's two alpha selves interacting, they don't know what to do, because that's never happened, and it can't happen, but it is.
And this caused the new Rose to have a mental breakdown.
Yeah, she just collapses.
And she says her character arc's never going to get anywhere now because there's this Rose, and this is the one
Yes.
everybody cares about.
Because they bring up character arcs as if it's a physical thing. Well, then if it's a physical thing, it can be beaten too. And Hussey breaks every rule possible. So it makes sense if he'd find a way to break the personal quests by fooling the Skya and the Horror Terrors.
And then Dave says, what are you talking about, Rose? We don't have Ox. This close to the ultimate riddle being solved. This close. You don't understand. Spade Slick's gonna fly down, and Dave's just gonna click. It's all gonna click, and he's gonna go, this is it. This is an MS Paint adventure this entire time. So, what about the other game over selves, though? What about Kanaya? This Rose has to bring up Kanaya at
She
some
was
point.
obliterated, so we don't even know if she got a ghost.
But why? But this Kanaya has to be brought up again. She was in love with the other Rose.
Yeah, I don't know.
For the sake of
we
character
don't know how
development.
Rosemary's gonna work. There's one Kanaya and two Roses. Booyah, double roses. Cue Kanaya with sunglasses on, backwards baseball cap, a rose on each arm.
So you can't touch the other Rose, so get spited.
That's not how spriting works. Briscoe's
No,
making
it's
that
not.
up.
Briscoe is making that up for some reason.
A lot of people are like...
Because John high-fives the corner
a lot
spot
of
in Act
people are
1.
like, well, you see, it matters on amount of physical context, and then no, it matters that Vriska's lying.
And even, I saw evidence that even as far as Kanaya with her own sprites, he held hands with
Yeah.
her mother.
Sprites only sprite what they need to sprite for the canon timeline. You've seen it. You think it's like you can sprite whatever you want to continue the timeline. And I'm getting into BYB Ultimate Riddle here, sorry. But no, it's kind of more of if you sprite the wrong thing, the timeline ends. Look at Cal Sprite.
Yeah.
Dave sprited Cal, done. Timeline is doomed.
Everybody starts dying right there.
BYB theory says that he should have still been able to do that because whatever you will is what the alpha timeline is.
No.
But that doesn't change the fact that he fully, willingly sprited Cal, and it was the Doom timeline.
Because of that.
Yeah. The whole John Doom thing was all so the Horror Terrors could loop the timeline back and solve everything.
Yeah. That wasn't really what doomed the timeline.
No, the Cal sprite is what doing the timeline because you can't sprite Lord English.
You can't just run around spriting whatever you want.
No, there's the game Suburb puts a cap on you. You can't have that much free will. Almost every sprite in Homestuck is an accident.
Yeah. And that's how they get around Suburb's rules. Suburb wants this to happen, something goes wrong. You know what? I think Gamzee can get around the Suburb rules and sprite the bodies. But then again, didn't Suburb want those sprites to exist?
Yes, it's hard with Gamzee because, as Hussey says in the book, the villains of Homestuck are a little bit closer to the fourth wall than the other characters.
He says Homestuck is like a made-up bubble, and villains like Back Noir or Gamzee, for
Yeah.
example, are right above the surface, they're barely leaning out of it.
I would assume that Gamzee sprites were a little bit scraping the edge of beating the Horror Terrors, but not quite, because this thing's still on track. And the Horror Terrors saw the new timeline as a chance to fix the sprites.
Yeah.
Of course, now Jasper ruined everything for him again, so who knows what they're gonna do now.
How did Jasper sprite break the rules and sprite Rose? Because it's from a retcon
Because they're from a
timeline.
retcon timeline. Horror Terror, from what we can see, Paradox Space, Horror Terror Sky, whatever you want to call the great being of timeline, the god of time, as Aradia says, it can't affect the retcon stuff. Or it can, we're all being played like fools.
There's still a corner left.
There's still a kernel left, and judging by how mad Sky is going to be at Rose Sprite, something accidental is going to be put into it.
Well, Strider's
Probably
dead
something
body
horrible.
was mentioned a lot.
Yeah, but that's also from the from the retcon.
I think it's more obvious that it's gonna be Jane that'll bring him back with her life powers, bring back Will.
Yeah.
Here's what I think is gonna happen. I think there's gonna be some really. I think the right way to handle it. Here's what I thought of. This isn't really a theory. This is more of just what I want to happen. Okay. But how you do this is you have a battle of some sort, whether it be the kids fighting Caliborn or whatever. I think there's going to be a point where Carcat gets knocked out. And he's probably going to lose his eye like in Paradox Space. And if that happens, I think he'll lose the arm while he's at it. The eye and the arm lost for Carcat. And he'll probably wake up to Bro making him an arm with Spade Slick.
Maybe.
You don't think Bro and Slick would team up to make Carcat an arm?
I don't think we need Bro for that. I think we have enough Dirks floating around.
Grandma Jade?
That's not a good enough plot reason to bring back. Like, we all want Bro to be brought back just because his body is readily available, but there needs to be a real plot reason for bringing him back. And it's hard because anything he can do, we can just have Dirk do. And there's like 10 Dirks running around, so we're not at a lack of Dirks.
What if he wakes up to Jade building him the arm, and together they go fight the Condis and see Echidna?
Maybe. I don't know if we have much room for that much time skips left. I say that as we just skip to the end of the session, but still, I don't see the characters becoming that slow paced again.
You really
This
don't
is the
think...
I think this is. I don't know why I hadn't thought of this before, but this lily pad here at the mall talking, this is the final resting place.
Before the game.
Look it up on TV tropes. It's in every video game. I'm sure it's on there. Before the final boss fight of a video game, you're always given a nice quiet spot where you can regroup with your party, save up your potions, save your game, and there's always a sign that says, "This is the point of no return. Are you sure you want to continue?" This lily pad is that spot. Once they leave this spot, either willingly fly off to their mission, or Becknor zaps in and everything breaks loose, this is the last slow talking part of the comic.
It's like the end of a God of War game or Kingdom Hearts. There's always that slow platform or the one big platform.
Yeah.
Now, of course, then again, you have DC Online, where there was that Fortress of Solitude mission that was so incredibly difficult, and we couldn't beat it. We just got pummeled every time. It ended up with us just gathering in a circle in the big room and just talking, hanging out. We didn't care. We weren't going to stop the boss ever. We were just trading items.
Are really generic in RPGs because it's always this little circular platform with a save spot. But it's even worse in MMOs because you guys don't do anything. You just sit there talking.
And that's what this is.
That's what this is. That's what the suburb has become.
We're gonna regroup here before the big attack on the Leroy Jenkins.
Exactly.
Like, how many World of Warcraft times have there been 12 hours of just people talking in a boss room, not spotting the boss, not doing anything, just talking?
Yeah.
It happens in every MMO.
Riska's here trying to get their plan together. Who's going to be the Leroy Jenkins?
Dork Strider bleeding like a goat. For ironic
It's gotta be Dave
purposes.
this time. He still has to do it.
Bro, it's gonna be bro.
Everyone but Dave.
Friendly reminder that at once we're all gonna get Becknor, PM, Spade, Slick, Dork, and Blade Eye Kindler as a character, all flying to them.
Dirk will be slower because he doesn't have teleport powers. The others do.
That's right, Beck's already messing things up somewhere.
Spade doesn't, but he might be faster because of his rocket pack. Beck and PM have teleport. Dirk doesn't. We don't know anything about the Union Jack yet.
And it's obvious that if Slick lands, he's gonna go on Prospect.
Yeah.
And gather
Or
Carpassians.
No, he's gonna be on. He's gonna end up on Dirk's planet because that's where Club's Deuce is, and that's where the robots are.
Oh, okay. Okay. But he's gotta gather his new Midnight Crew. I really want him to gather a new Midnight Crew. Very desperately. And that's when we get that really cool post-punk Midnight Crew flash.
What's gonna end up happening to Miss Paint that Vriska's gonna take over as the new Snowman?
Jade Snowman, I thought.
No, Vriska is. Jade does wear the dress at one point, but Vriska is a tall female character who dresses in black, is obsessed with the number 8, and has blue blood. She fits it way better than any other character in the comic. Miss Paint and Jade just wear the dresses. Vriska actually fits Snowman.
Yeah.
So if Hussey is heading towards a regrouping of the new Midnight Crew with these characters, then it's going to be Spade, Slick, and as
No,
as-
you're missing something here. We have a lot of snowmen. A lot. Couple things you're forgetting here.
Who?
Okay, Snowman number 1 is obviously Vriska, he really does go full
Yeah.
evil. Snowman number 2 is Grimbark Jade, so on mind control her and still go evil. Still have to face Carcat. Vriska will have to face Twezzy, which is pretty much Act 5, Act 2 all over again. And then Slick will have to face Condis, who is another Black Queen of Dorse, who will have a Kiss Maces with. That's 3 snowmen.
and Miss Paint.
4. 4 snowmen.
There's also 4 Jacks.
See, we're getting something here. We're going somewhere.
The Midnight Crew is going full out 4 suits of cards.
Yes. We got Jack number 1 as Jack
We've
number
only
2
ever
as
known
Slick.
the Black Midnight Crew. Well, here come Gray, Red, and Pale Midnight Crews.
Yes, absolutely.
Unless he's going for the full deck of cards for the end of finale here.
We're gonna have a combo showdown: Carcat versus Jade, Spade, Slick
I think-
versus
I
Condis,
think the
Twezzy
most
versus Whisker. Come
I think
on.
the most important characters in the session right now that I haven't seen a single theory talking about it, but they're here. The biggest characters in the entire session. The entire felt.
The entire felt is here. All of them. And it's not like a Splinter version. Like these.
No.
The
The actual
no
felt is on their way to
no,
the session.
How does it work with Wetcons? With Caliborn having the felt and then Slick getting them, but
do you
Slick being
mean?
Wetconned. Oh, it
No,
hurts my
nothing,
head.
no retcons affect that timeline.
The Midnight was fine, right? Nothing ever happened.
Nothing affected them.
Okay. The Wetcon didn't touch them.
No.
Unless there's 2 Wetcon timelines. Then there'll be 2 Spade Slicks, 2 members of the Felt, 2
I
Miss
don't.
Paint.
Unless John standing there when Vriska's arm blew up affected them, I don't think there's nothing to affect them.
Yeah.
There's nothing happened until after they already did their stuff. Remember, the whole intermission happened hundreds of years before Earth was ever even born, and hundreds of years after the trolls ended their session. There was no one around.
And the whole Hussy Spade Slick thing didn't get messed up. The whole
That
body
happened
glue
inside
thing.
the Green Sun, and with windows to different dream bubbles. That's nothing affecting the story.
Okay, so he's fine. Are we gonna get dialogue of Spade Slick talking to Dave? What do you think?
To Dave, Dave's entire story arc has been, let's not show him the Midnight Crew.
Okay, so he won't see the Midnight Crew.
He's had the Midnight Crew poster on his wall since his first page of appearance, and he still hasn't seen a single one of them.
Yeah.
The entire sub-quest of Suburb is to team up with the Midnight Crew, and the main characters don't even know they exist.
Only Carcat. Mm-hmm. And he knows them as the agents, not Midnight Crew.
Dave got in a fight with Beck Noir and didn't recognize him because he already had the dog face.
Yeah. And,
Diamond's Droog was in his house, and he didn't even get the chance to see.
does Carcat know about Spade Slick and the whole Mafia thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
he teamed up with them. Oh, about the Midnight Crew? No.
The last thing he figured out was that Beckwell was not Spade Slick and that Spade Slick is still running around somewhere.
Alternia MS Paint Adventure was Homestuck.
Okay.
Midnight Crew was an adventure only on Earth.
Okay. Because, like, I wonder if Carcat's gonna find him. He's gonna go, wait, what's the new look? And he's gonna be like, I got mixed up with some bad people. Got caught up in the Mafia. I've been waiting for that scene for so long. The return of the stab dads. When's it gonna
The
happen?
only thing is, if Dave does get his payoff of finally meeting the Midnight Crew that he hates so much on stupid MS Paint Adventures, then that means Jane has to get the payoff of finally meeting the Problem Sleuth she loves so much.
Oh, yeah.
He's also in the session somewhere. He's an unnamed carapace we've never met before, but he's in the session.
I mean, we got to see Alpha Miss Paint, didn't we?
Yeah, she's in a few of the flashes.
Yeah.
She's never on screen as a major character, but she's sang in the background of a few pages and flashes. She exists.
Did we ever see the other Nameless Renegade? He was mentioned existing.
When Jake is about to explode, they park the ship there and say that's an illegal parking. And Jade said, I could probably move the ship, but I like seeing the little renegades walk around with their little checkerboards, giving tickets. It's so adorable.
Off-screen implied that he exists.
Yeah, this off-screen implied he's still alive somewhere.
So there's alternate versions. Is there even an alternate version of WV?
Alpha version, yes.
Yeah,
but he was. No, there's not. He was a farmer on the battlefield, which never got that far.
Okay, so no WV.
He wasn't a Dursite. He was a farmer on the battlefield.
Okay. So his NPC was never spawned by support.
No.
There's no reason for him
There's
to
a
do that.
PM, a renegade, and that's about it.
Miss Paint.
And Miss Paint.
And then the Kings and Queens.
Yeah, but they're all dead now.
Condis took over with the
Yeah.
Black
What
Queen.
happened to the White Queen? She revived Jane, and then did she die? I can't remember.
I don't know. What did
I'll have to
happen
go
her?
look that up again. She saved Jane from the Alpha Jack. And threw him
Yeah.
in jail. I don't remember what happened to her after that. I don't know if they even showed. She might just be out there somewhere. Nothing she can do.
No, Seattle moment to save the day.
Her ring has to get lost at some point.
What do you do with the Union Jacks, last played I Kindware?
I don't know where he's going with that.
He has too many characters in the story.
Oh, you know who else is in the session that no one's talking about? Dad Egbert. They did the whole jailbreak scene, left him there. Although he seemed pretty content in his penthouse talking about fashion with the Dursites, so they wouldn't be saving him from anything.
He's probably dead.
He's safe in there.
Was he in Dawes or Prospect?
Durst.
Dawes, okay.
He was on the top of the Durst prison in the worst cell for the worst prisoners. It's like a luxury penthouse. And he has cell phone access where he texts all the Dursites how to fix their crumpled hats.
All the Dawesites, he was talking to Club's Deuce.
It was Club's Deuce, Diamond Droog, and a bunch of funnily named Dursites.
That's actually Midnight Crew dialogue we actually see. Mm-hmm. So it's possible it could happen. I mean, come on. We got all that Diamonds Droog and Club's Deuce dialogue. We know the character.
Yeah, well, it's never directly stated this Club's Deuce. All we know is he has a long conversation about some poor guy who sat on his hat, and he says, just flip. One guy's like, did you try flipping the hat around and sitting on it the other way to redo it? And Dad's like, no, that's not how you do it. And then it cuts to Club's Deuce with a big crumpled hat on. So we assume that happened.
Yeah, but don't we get to see Diamonds Droog texting before he puts the wing on?
I'd have to check it. He might.
I think we see him.
He might get some text with Dad.
And then he gets the wing on, does this whole thing.
Yeah.
Drinks a juice box as one of the weirdest callbacks ever.
Yeah, he drinks a juice box.
That's those panel edits that people do.
Out of context edits on MSPA forums. And then he does Ascend More Casually, which is a lyric stuck joke.
Yeah.
Because it shows the most generically, overly done parts of the comic. Because the lyrics match, not because it has anything to do with the story.
Just a joke on all those lyrics.
They said the word milk. We better cut back to Equius from Act 5.
Yep. Now, this is all some sort of evil Lord English meaning behind it, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Trying to remind you of Equius.
The coin spins. I don't know why the coin spins.
He spent a lot of time with that coin spinning. And then we cut to Woxy with the robots. Like, we get to see panels of stuff that happened long ago that he drew. Like, new panels of stuff that happened way long ago.
Yeah, it shows a lot more of Roxy and Dirk's escape from their burning planets.
Even though it happened a long time ago. He just was making a joke on the fandom.
Yeah.
I still think we're going to get Spade Slick alive, and then Spade Slick alive more casually. Mm-hmm. When he flies towards the assassin. And then alive more casually is going to be the Bowman post-punk song.
Yeah.
I need that. I need that so badly.
That'd be great. Or the unused one. What's it called?
Fill in with Midnight. Malcolm Brown singing.
That'd be a good one, too.
But that one's only like a minute long, and it's slow and evil. That'd be more like a character rising up or something. That's like a mispaint death scene of Spade Slick rising up. That isn't him arriving an assassin. Yeah,
the only problem is that Hussey's set up that Bowman lyrics are used for fast-forward videos.
Oh, yes, kind of has that going, doesn't he?
He's done that twice now, and then he did the Saw theme for the recent one. So it'd have to be a Carcat that means Spade Slick, and then Jack Noir cut fast forward to Spade Slick, and show the entire Midnight Crew storyline all in a row.
Oh, okay. That's a great way to wrap things, to do the whole recap of the Midnight Crew. Mm-hmm. Will Carcat remember him?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like he really
Carcat's whole thing.
He really meant something to him. Like it's like his fatherly figure.
Even in Act 2, he was still ranting about how Bec Noir betrayed them all.
But he then figured out that he won the whole Crash Bandicoot thing.
Yeah.
That there's different Crash Bandicoots, and then his other Bec is still out there somewhere.
Yeah. Exile Spade Slick.
I'm just not so sure about this Carcat. The last Carcat we saw on the Meteor just cried about Spade Slick and Jade the whole trip. Mm-hmm. That he didn't get to see any of them, and that he's lonely and feels alone. Mm-hmm. This new one got to see Dave, so it's possible he never had any of those feelings. He could just be like, oh, Wyatt, you're that guy you helped out, and you're that dog girl I was friends with for like a day. I don't know. Come on, Dave, let's go. See, the thing with the new timeline is, I am not upset with Hussey anymore about any of the characters like Rose, because they're all back. Dave's written like Dave. Rose is still a Rose sprite. But Carcat, this new Carcat is so different than the other Carcat. We need the other Carcat back. I'm not saying this Carcat's bad. He's just his own character. We need both of them in the comic. And I need to see them in a Cosmesis. That'd be the greatest thing ever. I need a Carcat versus Carcat chat. Pre-retcon versus post-retcon.
It's been a while since a Carcat.
Come on.
Like Act 6 Intermission 2, I want to say.
Oh, God.
Or Intermission 3? Intermission 2.
We need Carcat versus Carcat. I was just thinking...
I think Mini Strife might have had like one line of dialogue. but that's not enough.
I'm still suspicious of him burning in the lava. I'm still suspicious. We got no dead screen. He either walked out, deal the Kinna, or something. Please let him be spited. Please let him be spited. Please, Carcat Sprite. Please, Carcat Sprite.
No, we don't need a Carcat Sprite.
Yes, we do need a Carcat
The
Sprite.
last remaining Sprite has to be green. Jade green.
It fit
So tie
Carcat
that
with this whole green thing
into it.
going.
Maybe.
Come on. Wed, he's wed blood, duality, cherubs. It fits. It fits,
But
trust
it's not
me.
lime, it's jade. It's very specific in this comic.
I know.
Jade and lime are entirely different things.
I know, but still, I'm stretching it. I am stretching it. Sort of like the clubs do stretch Armstrong scene. Come on. I need Carcat back. The other Carcat, because I want to see him fight with the other
It could be
Carcat.
Kanaya because it's jade. And that could stretch to anything vampire related. And it could be jade because it's
Sleuth
jade.
Sprite?
And that could stretch to anything space related.
Oh, God. What could it be? I don't have no idea. I have no idea
Like
who
I
this
said,
corner
it's
could
probably
be.
going to be an accidental spriting.
I think Whiska's gonna purposely point out Solid Sprite and go, that's what we gotta make.
If it's not aerosol, then that means there's more changes to the cherub line here than we assume. Because that means his talk with Jake to give him the code was different.
Oh, okay.
And that means trickster mode was different.
Who
We
could
already know in trickster mode Fafetta wasn't there.
Calliope Sprite?
There's no way to get her.
No. Okay.
She doesn't have a body.
Yeah, she has no body. Okay, I guess you're right about that.
She has a dream self, but we don't even know where that is. There's never shown the physical placement of their session, even though that should be a thing.
It's just in Caliborn's door, so a prospect somewhere.
Yeah, but that's actually in Paradox Space somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
The sessions are floating in space like lands to a mini session.
Yeah. So, if they flew for like 6 years, 3 years back, they could finally get Calliope's body to bring her back.
Uh-huh.
Be kind of a
If
waste,
they knew
though.
where it was and how to navigate space.
Why did they put so much emphasis on Bro, man? Bro's gotta come back. Why would you think Bro would come back?
It creates a splinter of Dirk, which is a Dirk thing.
Yeah, so it's gotta be a Bro.
Or he's kept the body around, reminding it about us for a reason. But there's no plot relevance for him being alive again. Especially not in a green color.
Not sprite-wise, what can you do?
You can call me crazy all you want for the color thing mattering, but Rose Sprite just happened. And it's worth noting that every kid, their sprite color is the opposite kid as their text color.
Well,
So, since it's Roxy Sprite, it matches Rose's typing color exactly. There's nothing more perfect than Rose that could have been sprited.
Well, I was looking at that panel of Rose there, standing there, looking at Dave looking at her, and a couple of things caught me off guard. First off, it's obviously that Dave is an edit of Caliborn. It just looks weird.
Yeah.
And then Rose is drawn like a denizen rather than a sprite in here.
That Caliborn's that at WV from Act 2.
Oh, okay.
Or not from between acts? Is that when he looks at the screen?
Yeah. But listen to this. The sprites, when they're shown in sprite mode, or the generic looking ones, right? They have all white with an outline of the color, right?
Yeah.
And then when they go in hero mode, they're in all solid color. Like Dave's Sprite being orange, all solid orange, or Nana Sprite being all solid blue. But when Rose Sprite goes hero mode, or any of the new sprites recently, the last we saw of Dave's Sprite, they still look like the sprite mode. And it sort of makes them look more like denizens. And then if you go, I decided to look at Rose's denizen, and she really has become the denizen, because Rose's denizen is an all purple snake with an all solid white head. It's the exact color scheme of her sprite. She's become her denizen. Which sort of fits the whole, she doesn't really want to see her denizen thing. She's become her denizen.
I think Rose Sprite will want to see her denizen.
Yeah.
Does that still count as you're winning your quest? Again, assuming Suburb didn't account for the retcon panel.
I don't
it
know.
Retcon timeline. It doesn't make any sense, so who knows?
When you get spited, it gets so weird.
They're exploiting Suburb finally. They found a way.
Do we still know? Okay, you know what? Tab with Spike confirmed that actually. That when you die, you become your doomed self in a timeline. So that technically means Dave Sprite's a doomed Dave somewhere.
Well, they exploded. We don't know if that. We don't know. They killed a sprite. We've never seen that happen before.
Tab with
Dave
Spike,
Sprite
okay.
blew up, and that killed a sprite. That's never happened.
Yeah.
We've seen they can because Dave Sprite got cut by Beck, but didn't
Yeah.
kill him.
So you can kill a Sprite.
Well, they can bleed.
And when the game ends, they sort of fade from all of existence.
We think.
That's what happened with Tinkerbell.
All we know is that once Carcat touched the door, the Lucis sprites were no more.
We don't know how.
And when they're on the meteor, they're sad that their sprites had to go.
Go where?
We don't know what that means.
I don't know. All that transition from them on the platform to the media is so confusing because where did the sprites go? And what was Cockhead dreaming about? I still have to know.
Speaking of the Lucis, I'm worried about Jake Tav being a thing. Because in one timeline, Tavros killed Jake in the Betaverse. And in the Alphaverse, Jake killed Tinkerbulls. So this is just a death waiting to happen.
Oh God, some reflected bullet or animal mind control is gonna
Yeah.
go wrong here on Tavros and Jake. Who will it be though?
I don't know.
Was it
We'll get Jake Tavros Sprite, and then it'll kill himself somehow.
Oh, Jake Tavros by it.
Jake Tavros Sprite is the most accident-prone being in the multiverse.
What are these characters ever gonna get spied with something or no?
Double sprited. There's been such an emphasis on careful or you'll get double sprited that yes.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Tavros is probably gonna blow up again because if he ever has a chance of doing his big villain thing, he needs to be in Dream Bubbles. He can't do it from in the session. So he has to do with something that's gonna blow him up.
He's probably just gonna wham at Vriska and sprite himself with her and blow himself up to kill her.
But once again, you can't kill. Vriska needs more plot significance than that. And we're running out of Vriskas.
Yeah. What about Punk Vriska? Are we gonna cut to her anytime soon?
Alpha characters say that she has to be important because she's the alpha one. But she's really taken a back seat and she's living with Mina now. There's no reason for her to do anything. The only thing is that she has the house juju.
Yeah.
I think, last time. It may have transferred to Aradia's hands because it looked like Vriska and me are like, let's go to the theme park, and just left it there.
I think
so.
she
I'm
still
assuming
has it.
Aradia took it. And there may or may not be 2 Aradias now, so.
Oh my God. And it's very obvious we're gonna get a really horrible scene after the Caliborn thing happens of Cockhat, Kanaya, and Prezi.
Assuming the Caliborn thing does happen. Caliborn just saw it on his screen. It hasn't actually happened. So he may be wrong on some facts. And who knows? Maybe the things loop as if they were going to happen until John stops it. Then it cuts off.
Yeah.
Maybe the Caliborn fight may never happen. But he still saw it on the screen because it was going to happen.
What exactly was that? He found a computer in the land of colors and mayhem that had the west of Homestuck.
Yeah.
It was specifically described as MSPA.
Remember, he's been unlocking screens that show him the Alpha Kids. He unlocks a screen, shows him the Alpha Kids, he has a conversation with them. Apparently, he got enough keys that he read past us. He saw more than we did.
Okay. So he got to weed past us, and he got to see the rest of the comic. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to spoil it to you. Here's the awesome thing that happens.
Yeah.
I think that why wouldn't Cockhead and Kanai have been in that fight though?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Why do the kids feel like they would have been ready enough to go in that fight? It doesn't make any sense. What's tomorrow's update?
Tomorrow's the last one of the week. It's gonna be
Cockhead and Kanaya.
Cockhead and Kanaya.
And Vriska.
And Vriska. But every time Vriska's appeared in one, she's only got like one line. So
He just is
it's
there to be
Cockhead
there
and
because he
Kanaya.
wants to be there.
Maybe we'll finally get some Limeblood payoff.
Oh, it's Cockhead and Kanaya. This is gonna be good, actually.
This is gonna be maybe the last of troll terminology of the comic, unless he finds a way to tie more into it, and then he'll save anything else after this for Hive Swap.
Oh God. So he has a whole book of things for Hive Swap. I wonder what they'll bring up. Maybe some of that old Act 5 stuff. I feel like there's way too much of Cockhead and Kanaya stuff from Act 5 that goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
It's weird that, like, reading through it, Jade and Kanaya had, like, this whole friendship. They said they were gonna hang out together when they got together in Porcelain. They were gonna be the best pale people ever. What was going on between Jade, Cockhead, and Kanaya with the frog thing?
They had to make frogs.
But they said they were all gonna hang out in the media and be the best of friends.
Yeah, that's because the two Jade Bloods were matching, and the two Knights were matching, so they link up pretty well.
Jade said to Cockhead said to Jade he has lots of things he desperately wants to tell her to meet in Porcelain, and Kanaya said to Jade they have so much in common they're gonna be the best of friends.
Jade would have been a good alternate to Vriska for keeping the Meteor Kids in line if she had been there.
Okay, so why didn't it happen? Jade's like a really likable
she can't
character.
warp herself there.
But poor Jade hasn't had any character. All she's gone has been to sleep and mind controlled.
She's mirroring Jane's story because she also shares Pester Chum initials with her.
So they don't get to do anything?
No. They're getting their moment in Callie's bubble right now, which is totally still a thing that's happening. And that's probably what we're going to jump to when the character select screen's over with.
You really think we'll jump there?
I'm 99% sure that when the character select screen ends, one of two things is going to happen. We're going to jump view to another character, most likely Callie, maybe Dirk or Spades, but I don't think it's their time yet. Or we'll or the villain will just zap right in.
And we'll get the big flash. Which will... Oh, wait a second.
Which will probably cut away anyway.
If the villain zaps, we're going to get Jade Into again, which is the flash where Beck shows up. And we get that really awesome music. Mm-hmm. We get like a really cool shot of Beck flying towards the screen and then flying out. I bet that's going to be low spy edited. Oh, you know what happens in Jade Into? We cut to Dave Sprite and Bro's last moments.
No, I got it. I figured out the last kernel.
What?
I figured out the last Anakin sprite that will mirror the previous session, and it's Jade Green.
What?
GCat. First Guardians are Jade Green.
Oh, it's GCat.
And they did Beck the first time.
But with
around.
who? With who?
I don't know. Who fits? Maybe Roxy. Maybe that's why they bring back all her cat stuff.
Maybe.
Roxy Cat Sprite.
Maybe. But yeah, GCat definitely makes sense.
Or Nepeta. They have Nepeta's body.
Oh god, it's gonna be Nepeta.
Nepeta Cat Sprite.
Nepeta, that's what we're gonna get, actually.
I don't know. I'm sure GCat will be half of it. GCat will get put in by mistake.
We're gonna get a callback flash to Jade Into.
Yeah.
That's what we're
GCat
gonna
will be
get.
put in by mistake, making a Jade Green GCat Sprite with First Guardian powers, just like Beck. And Risk is gonna say, "Okay, we have a really, really bad Colonel Sprite. This is terrible. You jump in. You're dumb enough that it'll mess up its Sprite powers." But Jake. She'll say, "Jake, your brain is so stupid. You jump in there with GCat and make GCat stupid, and then we don't have to worry about him."
He's gonna jump in there and have the most evil powers in Suburb and kill this guy.
Yeah, then the evil Page payoff will finally happen.
Jake's gonna finally turn evil. Oh yes, Jake, GCat Sprite.
Who created GCat?
Jane, Crocketeer.
No. Jake. It was his code, and Jake's diary had the
That's
the
why.
code in it.
So it's gonna be Jake.
The bark code.
It's gonna be Jake and GCat, and he's gonna finally get this guy.
I'm laying it right here.
And
Jake
the
GCat
flash
is the
will be
final
Jade Into it.
kernel.
It'll be a remix of the music. We're gonna get Jake Sprite as an edit of Beck Sprite and Jade Sprite.
Jake Cat
Sprite. It's gonna be the same flash because we're gonna get the saw of all the kids Sprite
just-
modes flying into the
Or
portal.
just Jake Sprite.
Yeah.
Jake Sprite didn't have Beck in her name.
But how do you outcast these kids like the trolls did with the meteors?
What do you mean?
In that flash when the demon zapped, Owadiabot threw all the trolls in.
I don't know.
How do you do a call back to that?
I don't know. It won't be shot for shot like that.
No.
It'll just involve the same things. A troll will... She'll be throwing Jake into the kernel.
That's right. That'll be an edit of it.
It'll Radia moving her hand down, throwing something in. It'll be Vriska throwing Jake in.
Oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be such a good flash. Please, Hussy. I guess that's it. That's all.
We've gone.
We've got our predictions for the next updates laid out.
Yep.
You went full circle?
Yes.
Yeah.
We went from starting from last week's update to what's gonna happen next.
Well, speaking from Clown Lord headquarters, we'd like to sign off on this very special episode of 91 Reasons. Why is it special? I have no idea. But you always say it's special.
It's a Homestuck special.
Homestuck is always special.
Well, we want to thank everybody who's listening around the world. We have so many people listening. We're so grateful. So many different countries are represented. The best way to support the show, keep listening. And if you have a minute, go on to iTunes and leave us a review. 5-star review. Reviews are how we get rated in the iTunes search category. I have no idea how it works, but I hear all the other podcasts doing this, so it must be important. Any other thing on the horizon? Has Andrew Hussey returned any of our calls?
No.
No, it's day 187 with no response from Andrew Hussey. We will keep going at this as the phone keeps ringing. We just leave it ringing. We bought a special phone. It's on the side of our house. We dialed his number, and we just set it down, and it just rings all day, all night into Hussey headquarters. What do you think? Austin is staring into space. He is homestucked out.
Throwing a bathtub through your wall.
So pretty much what happens now is we sign off and a big update gets uploaded. Is that correct?
Tomorrow's is the perfectly normal Car Cat Kanaya one. It's going to be like 50 pages longest update ever watched.
Fantastic. Well, let's sign off. I am the voice. I am Jeff Tucker. For some reason, somebody contacted Austin with a a solicitation for Jeff Tucker Cheerios. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm looking forward to having breakfast with myself with that. So I am the voice. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined, as always, by your Homestuck experts.
Austin.
Luna.
And together we form the triumvirate, which is 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening. By Grandthar's Hammer. We'll be back with another episode. Live long and prosper. May the force be with you. So say we all. Hey, hey, hey.